What is up, problem solvers? Okay, so figured while we have both, let's do a comparison. So we have the Nabalis Canyon in the trainer blade, and we have the Nabalis Canyon live blade. I was not planning to buy this anytime soon, but I bought a batch of knives. It was a lot of knives. It was a very good price. Came with Nabalis Canyon, Nabalis Hydra, and 2 LDYs. So part of the reason I bought it was planning to give this one to my brother-in-law so him and my nephew can start playing with it until I can get them an Impulse. So I'm going to get them an Impulse too, and then they'll have this one, and they'll have some stuff they can flip together, get interested in it. I'm going to keep this one. I've already stabbed myself, so did an aerial earlier. This thing came down, landed, got me between the fingers. Not the end of the world, but it is very stabby. And don't think that's something I would necessarily want my nephew playing with at his age. So blunted trainer it is versus pokey false live blade. I will say, if you're playing with these false live blades, yeah, it's not going to cut you the same way that an actual edged Balisong will with a real live sharpened blade. But those sharpened tips will still poke into you. You're not going to like gush blood or anything, but you're going to know you screwed up. So for those of you that don't want a live blade where you're cutting yourself open, but you feel like there's not enough risk in a trainer, get you a false live blade. Because they'll tell you when you screwed up, that's for sure. So I noticed off the bat a couple things about these. So the blades are different. So you've got the Canyon sort of cutouts on the trainer blade versus you've got the like milled in kind of pattern. It looks kind of Canyon-esque on the false live blade. I did notice when I was looking at them, there's a slight difference. I don't know if you can tell in video, but as far as the stone wash finish, feels a little more industrial on the trainer. It feels a little more, the lines feel a little softer in this one. So I don't know if you can tell, but so if you look at the handles, there's just ever so slight differences in the milling. The overall handle shapes, it does look like they changed the hardware at one point in time. Let's see. The logos are slightly different on both of them. Hopefully y'all can see that. Slightly different logos, slightly different blade shape, obviously. This is much more shaped and contoured and pokey. This is very blunt and rounded off. This has the cutouts to save weight. You know, when they machine that obviously takes weight out of the live blade. So there is a slight difference in how these feel. Oh, between the two, you know, I had commented in an early video when we opened this that I really enjoyed it. It's kind of heavy. The live blade is still heavy, but it feels to me like it's slightly lighter than this one. I could be wrong. It could be completely opposite. Maybe it's just the way it feels in hand. But both absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, just ever so slight differences in machining. You know, the cutouts and the jimping all just appears a little bit softer on the live blade. Now this may be because this is older. My understanding is the gentleman who had these and sold them off wasn't flipping anymore, so it made me think these have been sitting for a little while. So I don't know how old this one is, but what did they release this, a year or two ago? So this could be a year old. Whereas I think I've had this for like a month. Got it off Amazon. So they have definitely changed a little bit as far as the milling and machining or the tooling is just changed, and so it's got a little better definition on this than on this. Maybe they changed up a little bit about the design. Maybe that was intentional. So there was a slight difference between the balance on the live blade and the balance on the trainer. I don't know, but it does feel slightly different. We're going to end up keeping the live blade, like I said. These are absolutely phenomenal. You cannot go wrong with the Canyon. These come in about 40 bucks. So one other thing to consider in that price range is the Impulse 2. And I know I keep bringing up the Impulse 2, but if I had to choose between the two, they make one of these for $40. They make one of these for $40. They make one of these for $45. They make one of these for $50. So they're very much in the same price range. I personally prefer the aluminum, but if you like a little more handle bias, you like a little heavier balisong, these Canyons are great. Steel handle, it's going to last probably a lifetime. You know, you tune your pivots and your bushings, you have an extra set of hardware. This could last you a lifetime, but so could this. So they're all phenomenal. This is my go-to budget king right now, but I just wanted to compare these two. They're absolutely both great options. If you're getting this for a younger person and you're concerned about them hurting themselves, trainer blade. Otherwise, get the false live edge. I think it looks a little cooler. But I also like the cutouts. And also with these cutouts, you can get the zippy inserts to go inside this. I believe you can get zippy inserts to go in these speed channels. So you can still modify this in some fun ways. I'm sure Zippy eventually will come up with some inserts for this if they haven't already. But yeah, I do think you can't go wrong with either. Personally, like I said, I'm keeping this one, but that's one, I like the blade shape, and two, like I said, I'm passing this on to family. I don't want to be the reason a family member gets hurt. I just want to encourage flipping. So, can't go wrong with either one. If you've got somebody asking you about a new Balisong, send them to look at Nabalis. Everything they're doing is absolutely phenomenal. They've got some great stuff in the $50 or less price range. So, no more real need to go buy the cheap stuff off Amazon that we all know doesn't last, doesn't flip very well, doesn't really feel that great in the hand. When you can get something from Nabalis for not much more money. I mean, if this is $30 and this is $40, you can get one of these for $35 or $40. An extra $10 to get something that is significantly better in either form is a no-brainer. Don't waste your money. Wait for a Nabalis product to be in stock, or go directly to their website. See if you can get a blim. You know, if you don't want to pay full price on one of these. I don't know if they do blims on the cheaper models, but I know the Vulp, the Teflon Vulp, the Cheese, they run deals on blim trainers. So you could get a trainer for 15% off maybe. At that point, it's really these. Now you're starting to talk about, you know, something like a Vulp gets into the sub $60 range. There's so much great stuff out there. Don't waste your money. If you were going to spend $30 on that, spend $10 more, get you one of these, or spend maybe $20 more and get yourself a Vulp. Now, you start breaking into the $70, $75 range, there's a ton of other stuff between that and $100 that we'll go over at another time. But right now, I just want to talk about these budget options, primarily the Canyon, since we had them both. We'll do a more detailed comparison of these two next. Because, you know, I've kind of talked about it briefly here, but we'll do a more side-by-side comparison. I don't know that I'm going to bother doing a tabletop on these because there's really not a lot of difference. It's very subtle. Guess if anything, we'll go tabletop for a brief minute just to see if I can get y'all some more detailed shots where I can ensure that y'all can see some differences. But outside of that, phenomenal knives. Flipping 2 is... anything more advanced than that, my brain starts to melt down. So these people that can flip 2 Balisongs at the same time and do it well and do lots of tricks, like, that's super impressive. Doing it with 1 is hard enough, but doing 2 simultaneously, yeah, respect. Anyway, just want to do a quick overview of those. I may or not film a more up close. We'll see. If not, y'all have a good one. If we do, I'll see y'all in a few. Y'all take care.